I can't wait for spring to come.
What is so special about the spring?
The weather is warm in the spring.
It is also warm in the summer.
There are mosquitoes in the summer,
There are no mosquitoes in the fall.
but fall isn't warm like summer is.
And winter is even colder.
That's why I think spring is the perfect season.
I think I prefer the summer.
What about the mosquitoes?
I'll wear bug repellent. I won't be in town this weekend.
Neither will I.
I'm going on a camping trip. What are you doing?
I will be visiting my grandma.
I think camping will be more fun.
Why don't you take me with you?
I don't think your parents will allow it.
You are probably right. I want to go.
I'll bring you back a souvenir.
I don't want it. I want to go too.
You can't always get what you want.
I hope you get eaten by a bear. Mom, are there animals in the forest?
Yes, there are many different kinds.
Then why haven't we seen any?
They are probably hiding.
Why are they hiding?
Animals are afraid of people.
Maybe if we hold still, they will come out.
Why is that?
They will think we are trees.
I think they will know we're not trees.
Can we try it and see?
No, dear. Let's keep walking. I would like to have a garden.
Planting a garden is a lot of work.
But then you grow beautiful flowers.
Plastic flowers don't die, and they are also beautiful.
Plastic flowers don't have a scent.
You can spray them with perfume.
Perfume doesn't really smell like flowers.
It does if you buy the right kind.
It is expensive to buy perfume and plastic flowers.
I suppose you are right.
Will you help me plant my garden?
I don't think I have any other choice. Why are you spraying pesticides?
To kill the insects in the garden.
Not all insects are bad.
They are ruining my vegetables.
You should buy the right kind of poison.
What do you mean?
Some poisons kill bees.
That's all right. Bees sting people.
Without bees, your garden will not have fruit.
Why is that?
Bees pollinate the flowers so fruit can grow.
Help me pick out a pesticide that is safe for bees. Have you ever heard of poison ivy?
Isn't that a supervillain?
I wouldn't know. Tell me more.
I once read about poison ivy in a comic book.
Oh no, that's not what I'm talking about.
Then what did you mean?
I was talking about the plant.
Is it the one that makes you itch?
Yes, I fell into a patch of it.
Did you wash it off?
Yes, but it still itches.
The poison ivy I think of is better than the poison ivy. I want to take off my shirt.
Why would you want to do that?
My shoulders hurt from yesterday.
What happened yesterday?
I went to the beach.
Are you sore from swimming?
No, I didn't go swimming.
Then what happened?
I fell asleep without a shirt on.
Then you must have bad sunburn.
I do. My shirt makes it worse.
It's too bad we're in school. Aren't waterfalls beautiful?
I think they're terrifying.
Why do they scare you?
People fall off them all the time.
Do they live?
Of course not.
As long as you don't swim in them, you're safe.
They are still dangerous.
People are the ones who make the danger.
I suppose you're right.
Do you still think they're terrifying?
A little, but they're beautiful too.
Hello and welcome to 6 Minute English, the program where we explore an interesting topic and bring you 6 bits of useful vocabulary. I'm Neil.
And I'm Rob. Today we're talking about first impressions and how they're often wrong.
So let's start with the term first impression. It's the idea or opinion that you have about someone after meeting them for only a short time.
It's very natural to make a quick judgment about someone based on their appearance or facial expression.
We're going to be hearing about the research of Professor Alexander Todorov from Princeton University in the US. First, though, a question. How long does he say it takes to form an impression about someone's face? Is it A, under 1 second, B, 1 second, or C, 6 seconds?
I'll go for B, 1 second.
Well, we'll find out if you're right or not later on in the program.
So Alexander Todorov has been researching our impressions. His tests asked people to decide whether they thought faces were dominant, competent, trustworthy, or extroverted.
Let's just look at those words for a second. Dominant means being strongest or most important. Competent means being able to do things.
While if you're trustworthy, it means people trust you. You are worth their trust. And being extroverted means you are energetic and enjoy spending time with others.
So what did he find out? Faces that look happy and feminine, like a woman, were rated as more trustworthy.
While faces that were more masculine, like a man, were seen as more dominant.
Wider faces with big eyes were seen as more extroverted.
Now, the important thing is that Todorov says that these judgments aren't accurate. Someone who looks competent isn't necessarily competent.
So what does this mean in practice? Here's Professor Todorov.
Trustworthiness, dominance, and attractiveness are the three big things that we form impressions of people. But interestingly, we have done some work predicting the electoral success of politicians, and the judgment that is most predictive of who is going to win the election is perceived competence. And this is not random at all, because if you ask voters what is the most important attribute of a politician, competence is the one on the top.
Okay, so this is actually quite significant. People say that the most important attribute or quality for a politician is competence, the ability to do things.
Well, that sounds fair enough. But because we make judgments based on appearance, this can actually affect how people vote.
If voters believe or perceive someone to be competent, they're more likely to vote for him or her.
He says this applies especially to people who are less educated about politics. They're more likely to be influenced by appearance.
He says this applies to around 25% of voters, so the number of people who go with their gut is large enough to influence the outcomes of elections.
Wow. To go with your gut, that means to make a decision which isn't based on rational thought. It's based on instinct, on a feeling, on your gut.
Yes, your gut is your stomach and the organs in your belly. So can we tell nothing from a person's face?
Todorov says faces carry useful information about things like a person's mental state and whether they're tired or sick, but they don't tell you about a person's character.
Indeed, it's not only elections where this counts. We also judge during job interviews and meetings.
So what can we do to minimise the chances of being affected? Should we just close our eyes when we meet people?
Well, it's not such a bad idea. There's the example of the Boston Symphony Orchestra. Back in the 1950s, it was entirely made up of male musicians. Then they introduced blind auditions. In other words, they listened to new musicians without looking at them.
Okay, and what happened? I guess many more women were selected.
Exactly, around 50%. Of course, gender and race are also huge factors in how we perceive faces. Todorov says we tend to react most positively to faces that look like our own.
Right, well, I guess we just need to take a deep breath and try not to judge too much.
Easier said than done, I'm afraid, especially when we judge so quickly. But do we do it in under a second, 1 second, or 6 seconds?
Aha, I said 1 second.
According to Todorov, it takes under 1 second.
I think it's safe to say it's very fast. So shall we quickly go through today's vocabulary?
Okay, first up, first impression. The first judgment you make about something. What was your first impression of me, Rob?
Well, I thought you were very trustworthy and extroverted.
Well, isn't that convenient and accurate? Because those were exactly the two adjectives I wanted to look at next. Being trustworthy is important in life. It means people trust you.
And being extroverted is more of a character type. Extroverts like to be with people and are often seen as confident, whereas the opposite, introverts, usually need to spend time on their own and aren't as loud.
Both of these are interesting attributes or qualities. You could say that mathematical ability is an essential attribute for an engineer.
And competence is the number one attribute for a politician. Although people don't always vote depending on actual competence, they base it on their perception.
What they see or perceive as competence. Perceived competence might be different from actual competence.
Yes, in many situations we tend to go with our guts. We make decisions based on deep feelings. Do you do that, Neil?
Yes, some things you can think about too much. When I left my last job, I really just went with my gut. It felt like the right thing to do.
Of course, because it meant coming to work here with me.
Naturally. So that's it for our chat about first impressions. For more, do visit our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and YouTube pages, and of course our website.
Bye for now.
Goodbye.